voices everywhere, right? There's voices in your head. There's voices coming into your head. You can't even pump gas without like a little voice telling you about the weather and everything anymore. All right, so today I wanted to talk about abstaining. I did it yesterday. It's probably not what you think, but I wanted to talk about some things that have been going on this week, and we'll see where this goes. So anyway, my name is Ryan. This is High Carb Regenerator. Welcome to my channel. Now, I wanted to start off by saying this channel is not 100% about weight loss. This is more about regenerating your life, which is why I called it High Carb Regenerating. But you can only regenerate your life, in my mind, with high carb as your base, right? But yesterday, and another thing, you know, if you talk about the Durian Rider protocols, and if you watch Durian Rider and you watch me interviewing him and some of the people that I've got on the channel, a lot of people talk about hydration and drinking a bunch of water and all that. So I wanted to get into this. I'm not going to talk about the mucusless diet yet. That'll probably be Super Bowl Monday that I make that video. So let's get started with this one. So I wanted to talk about abstaining, and it wasn't from, you know, sex or anything. It was from water. I didn't totally, completely, you know, dry fast yesterday, but I woke up, I made a juice. By the way, I've got a couple of juice videos coming out. They're just going to be short. Hopefully you enjoy them. But, I got up, I drank a juice. It was a celery juice. I haven't had a celery juice in a long, long time. And I cleared out like 40 times, I feel like, right? It was crazy. And I actually had the same thing happen to me last year. I can't figure out what exactly caused it, because there's always, the cause and effect isn't always what you think it is. But every time I went to drink water, my body's like, stop. Man, I don't want it. I don't want it. And a couple times I tried to force myself, which is why I did have water. And I was right back in the bathroom. So I'm like, you know what? Why don't we, me and myself and I, just not have water today, just see how it goes. Cause every time I drink water, it's like, dude, I don't even want it. It was fine with drinking juices. It was fine with drinking smoothies. It was fine with eating. But water, it wanted nothing to do with it. And ironically, by the end of actually at midday through the rest of the day, I was peeing as clear as I've ever. I normally had to drink 4 or 5 gallons of water a day to pee clear. And I all of a sudden I'm peeing clear. Now, of course, yeah, there could have been something going on in the body that isn't very desirable, or it could have been getting rid of stuff that was sitting somewhere and it really needed to get away from. Now, I have had a lot of backlash with detox, okay? I think anybody who is on a Durian Rider protocol, or anybody who is on like a starch solution, they might not go through it and they might think it's total garbage. They might, right? But if you eat a lot of fruit and do juicing and stuff like that, you're gonna hit it. You're gonna hit detox. Like I was talking to Eli from Free Melon Society about that. I'll put a card here in the interview we did a couple days ago. He went through it, which I thought he had told me a long time ago that he had actually not gone through it, but it turns out that he had. If you're wondering why I'm sitting, I'm normally doing standing. I didn't feel like taking the microphone off the stand, to be quite honest with you, and putting it back on the boom. And I'm actually going to be changing up a few things the way I film. So hopefully that'll happen this week. And I'm going to be doing a lot more reaction videos, because people seem to like those, and it really gets the message out there. But back to the point here. The point is if I had listened to everybody that I got in my head here, I would have just chugged water all day. And I don't think my body wanted that. Now, am I advising a dry fast here? No. I know I do have people in the comment section that say, you should go on a dry fast for 3 years and hang upside down and, blah, 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 blah. But I'm not advising any of that. I'm just saying my body told me to do it. I did it. And I was so pleasantly surprised at the outcome of what I did. And that leads me to the point of the video. And if you saw, the short that I did, whenever, I don't know when I'm going to post that, but I did a short about like listening to yourself, because a lot of people don't do that, and I don't do that a lot either, even though I make a channel about that. Even my channel Ryan Talks is about listening to yourself. I haven't made a video on there in a while, but that was the main emphasis behind that channel. And if you really listen to yourself and don't have everybody else's voice in your head, which is hard these days because there's voices everywhere, right? There's voices in your head, there's voices coming into your head. You can't even pump gas without like a little voice telling you about the weather and everything anymore. But there's voices everywhere telling you about all this kind of stuff. And if you just sit back, and yesterday was Sunday, I generally don't do much of anything on Sunday. I played video games for like 7 hours or something like that. Like I needed to chill. I didn't go on my YouTube. I just needed to chill. And I did. And I listened to myself. And it worked out really well. And I think that, everybody's got good information. But I think that at the end of the day, as much as it actually hurts me to say this, I think you got to listen to your own self. Now, I want everybody to listen to me because I know where I've been. I was 405 pounds. I got down to, I think at one point I got down to 235. And then I rebelled probably against the voices that were trying to help me. And I started adding fat back in and different things, even though my body was like, dude, these muffins, maybe once a month, but bro, daily. And then I wasn't listening to myself. I wasn't listening. I'm like, you finally got yourself to a healthy weight. You finally got yourself to a point where walking is very easy for you. You finally got yourself to a point of all this kind of stuff. I had this going on in my head while I was eating all this hummus, the muffins and the potato chips and all that. It's vegan, right? But, it's not great, right? It's not great for you. I had that voice in my head with all the other voices that I've got in my head. And, at that time getting yelled at by my cat and everybody else. And I'm like, you know what? I did it anyway. I did it anyways. And I didn't listen to myself. I'm like, I should be able to, I deserve that. You'll love that one, the marketing term. I deserve this, I deserve this $800,000 car. Can't really pay for it, but I deserve it. This is how marketing 101. That deserve thing came from marketing, straight up. And you start, this is how you get yourself to do things. I deserve this. I deserve this pie or whatever. Eat the entire thing. And, this is what I turned into. Anyway, the point of this video, I abstained from water yesterday. It actually went better than I thought. And I actually listened to myself. And it went well. It went quite well. I listen to myself most of the time. But with some things, especially diet, and a lot of people who are obese or land whales or whatever you want to call it at some point, they generally stop listening to themselves because I don't think they trust themselves anymore. But that little voice in your head was never telling you to eat all that, like Taco Bell 40 times a day. It was never telling you to do that. You just did it. And I guarantee that voice in your head, unless it was that far gone or if you had that much stuff in your body, I know there's different things that might control factors. If you had that much stuff in your head, maybe you weren't thinking right. I don't know. But I would be willing to bet, because when I was jamming myself, even with keto, like I really liked it in the beginning, but at some point my body's like, dude, this ain't working anymore, man. You got to stop. And I'm like, no, it worked once. But then you realize that the body needs carbohydrates. And it's turning everything that you eat practically into carbohydrates. So why not just have the carbohydrates? But so you have these voices in your head going back and forth on whether it's worth doing something or not. And I guess it's up to you. I guess that's where free will comes in the hand. I guess it's up to you whether you listen to it or not. Because if you don't listen to it, you're going to, in any aspect of life, whether it's financial, whether it's relationship wise, whether it's, whatever, like if your brain is like, dude, you should go talk to this person, you might, they might not like you, but you just go talk to them. Like we feel their energy, right? It's a good energy. And if you don't do it, you think about how you didn't, in my case, I think about this stuff a lot. I used to just be the person that would just go out to talk to people, but for whatever reason, I just stopped doing it. And like, so you got this stuff in your head. Maybe this is a diary for myself, and I think it'll help somebody else. But when you don't listen to yourself, you will just constantly be thinking about the past. And when you did listen to yourself, I think this is why people live in the past so much, because like when you were a kid or when you were in your teenage years or whatever it was, whatever it is for you, you probably listened to yourself in maybe for no other reason than just to piss off your parents. But you did. You listened to yourself and you enjoyed it. You enjoyed every second of it. And so if we bring that mentality, and the people who do bring that mentality into their adult life are very successful in whatever terms that means for them. That doesn't always mean financial. Somebody's ringing. I don't know if you heard that. It was like a bike bell, but it's like not great weather. If you listen to yourself now, like you did when you were a kid, chances are you would be where you want to be. Now, like it brings me back to when Jesus said to live like a kid, to be like a kid. Those who get into heaven are ones who have that inner kid inside them. Because the person who isn't drained down and brought down with all these people's, thoughts of where you should be in your life. For example, like my parents, I love my parents, right? But they're the only ones on both sides of their family that had money issues. And they're the only ones that propensipated, or whatever that word is, by talking about how money is like evil, or how money is scarce, and you got to work, and but meanwhile, every one of their brothers, there's 13 aunts and uncles between the two families, and a whole lot of second cousin and fourth and whatever, very few of them are short on cash. Very few. And the ones who are the ones who have that mentality that money is evil, or money is this, or money is that. You can't change anything that you want to change in your world without money. You might not like that, but it's the reality. You might want to be skinnier, but if you're eating Taco Bell 40 times a day, chances are, unless it triggers some kind of like hyper, thyroid somehow by, doing something weird to you, you're going to keep getting fatter. Unless you're one of these people who everybody thinks is lucky that skinny stays skinny. And instead of getting fat, instead of storing your inflammation in the form of fat or water weight, it just straight up stores it in your tissues, and then people wonder why they die at 39. There's these different extremes. What is going on? There's these different extremes, but by and large, the people who are the people who are success. Oh my God. I'm going to go. I tried. It didn't happen. The people who are successful. What the hell is happening? Oh, successful in life are those who listen to that inner kid, because generally, when you come into this world, you know who you are and what you're going to do. I mean, think about me. First day of first grade, only person on the bus, back of the bus, because I didn't want anything to do with this. I throw my apple, of all things, at the bus driver, said, I don't want to be here. Take me home. I don't want this propaganda. I was a weird kid, right? Growing up, it's never changed. And I have always had an element of that, but I haven't always listened to where that weird kid wanted to go. And, if I had, matter of fact, I would have started YouTube a decade ago. Because I always know I wanted to just talk into a camera with a microphone, or do a podcast, which I still have yet to get started with. I know people have asked me to do this in the past. I'm already working like 12 hours a day with everything. So, I need a little downtime. But, yeah. So if you listen to yourself, if you just go out there and advance confidently, like what was it, Thoreau says, you will be met with success not known in common day, or whatever that quote is. Maybe I'll put it up on the screen here, but it's true. And the times that I have actually listened to myself and just like, like, no, I'm not doing whatever you want me to do. No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to be your little pet project. No, I'm not. Whenever I have listened to myself, I have been successful, even on YouTube. If we're going to even talk about YouTube here, the days that I just make videos that I don't care if it's going to do any good, and some of those videos flop, but most of the time, they do better than when I'm trying to look at the analytics, when I'm trying to look at like what's popular right now, what's popping. And all that kind of stuff. So you really have to, when you listen to that inner self, I know Aaron Doughty talks about this, and that's actually kind of, I don't say it's like an inspiration behind it, because there's other people that actually inspire me more. But this is why I created that Ryan Talks channel. I keep mentioning it because I would really like to start getting into that one again. Again, I'm going to be setting up a different microphone on this camera because I'm a sound freak, and I don't like the way sound has been coming out. So, yes. Listen to yourself. I know I've repeated myself, but honestly, repetition is probably the only way people actually get anywhere that they're going. You don't hop on a bike the first time, and even if you ride it the first time, you're probably not that good at it. You're not going to win, a race, probably your first time on the bike. But if you ride it enough, and if you're the right weight, chances are real good that you're eventually going to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do on that bike. Or if you make enough video, or if you figure out how to talk to a camera or talk to people, or, be out in crowds and talk to, if that's what your goal is, whatever your goal is, you can't most of the time get there by doing it once, failing, flopping, and expect any kind of result out of it. So you are going to fail, but failure is good because it gives you a way to go. And I think that's why most people don't listen to themselves, is because they feel like they're going to fail. Failure is great, because it tells you what doesn't work, right? Don't do that again. Or, maybe it did work, but you just sucked at it at the time, and just keep going with it. You have to decide that. You have to listen to yourself, and, you're just wrong with it. I don't know how abstaining from water turned into this video. Hopefully it did you some good, especially me trying to say successfully. I finally successfully said that. But anyway, this is my video. I could probably just ramble on for another hour, but I would like to do other things. So, I don't think I have anything to add to this. But it really triggered my thoughts yesterday when I finally just said, I'm not going to drink water. I didn't get a headache. I didn't get anything that whoever they is, claims that you're going to get when you don't drink a bunch of water. I actually was being more clear yesterday, not drinking water. I'm not saying go on a dry fast. I'm not saying that. Because people watch people's videos and they'll go do that, and like something bad happens. I'm not saying that. I'm not telling you to go on a dry fast. I'm just saying, and I really didn't even go on a dry fast. I had maybe half a gallon of water yesterday. But if I hadn't listened to myself, who knows? So it was comforting knowing that I finally did it and didn't have everybody else's voice in my head. But it's weird for me saying this kind of stuff because I put these videos out there to try to be the voice in people's head. But I can only give you what I found has worked for me. And I don't buy into the fact that, humans should eat different foods. I just don't buy into that. I just don't. We all have the same organ system, unless you have some kind of crazy disorder or whatever. We all have the same organ systems. We all have the same everything. I know there's different blood types and all that, but we all have the same makeup generally. Otherwise, you couldn't reproduce. You couldn't do anything. You couldn't do anything. So we all have the same system. There's no reason that we would have a different diet. I can't buy into that. Anyways, rambled on long enough. I think that's it. Likes, comments, questions, all that down below. Subscribe. Share these videos. Share the videos. I really could use the help. Anyway.